Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, I am playing the Tier 9 Premium US Destroyer Halford. If you saw the previous video that I posted up about this ship, you've already heard all the particulars. It is essentially a, not in every respect, and there are some slight differences, but essentially it's a Fletcher that has a little bit less gun power and only about half of the torpedoes you would normally expect. But it has an attack aircraft with rocket planes, and it can be very effective. Now, the rocket planes, as soon as you launch them, they are detected by anything within 10 kilometers. So anybody who knows anything about the ship and is paying attention, they'll know, okay, where I saw those aircraft, that's where the Halford is. As I mentioned in the last video, I really only played a handful of games on this thing. I think I played about 5 games and managed to win 3 of those as I, after the first couple of games, began to kind of get an idea of how to play it. Initially, I was trying to play it more like Fletcher. That was not effective at all. Fletcher kind of requires strategic use of its torpedoes, and this only has half the number of torpedoes. So what I had to do was kind of shift my thinking and play this thing a little bit more like I played Tromp. Now, Tromp has airstrikes and torpedoes and HE shells. This ship has rocket planes, HE shells, and torpedoes. Now, it doesn't have the ability to, say, launch some torpedoes from one side of the ship and then the other. They all go in one fell swoop. You've got 5 that come out of this one torpedo rack. Now, I know that there's something close there. I don't know exactly what it is. Taking a look at the matchup, there is a USS Black, which is another Tier 9 Premium US destroyer. And I have to hope that it's not on this side. If it is, I'm going to have to fall back immediately and basically hope I survive the onslaught. The fact that I haven't been radared yet tells me that it's probably not. You can see the Mahan over there at, Charlie 4. And I'm going to put some torpedoes out where red ships very often decide to sit. And you'll see just as I hit the 10-kilometer range, detected actually a little later than that in this case. I'm not sure why. And I'm going to try and put a hurt on the hipper here. He's showing me some broadside, and these can actually be pretty effective. He's trying to turn, create a little bit of angle. 42, almost 4,300 damage. I'll take it. You can see the torpedoes are moving in where I was wanting them. He's probably got his hydro up. And you can see the torpedo there on the far left. Might have made a hit, but unfortunately caught the island. Now, I have managed to secure a cap, and our team's doing pretty well, right? I mean, we've got the A cap, we've got the Charlie cap. But, you know, this game, it stays pretty competitive for a good while, I think. I've got 50 seconds until I have another airstrike. I've got 30 seconds, more or less, until the torpedoes are back up. So now I'm just going to focus on repositioning. I'm going to put myself where I can get torpedoes through some gaps in these islands. I don't have an enemy CV that I have to worry about, and there's really nothing on that side on the red team that is north of me other than these ships that you can see right here in this gap. So that's going to be my focus. As long as they're sitting there, our team's going to have a hard time being more where our Congress is now. You can see him, he's at like Foxtrot 4. So I'm just going to run north here, put torpedoes in that gap. As you can see, a battleship and a cruiser in that gap. And I'm going to hope I can catch someone with the torpedoes. Now, I don't want to begin using the guns, just end up getting myself lapped. I was just repositioning the ship so that I could leave. You can see immediately after I hit to launch the aircraft were detected. Now, the Iowa, as soon as he saw the aircraft, I think he said, oh, I got to get out of the way. The torpedoes are probably on the way. The Hipper, he waited just a second or two too long, and he paid a price for it. You can see there's one, and there's going to be another one. Boom. Then we get the airstrike on the Iowa, which was completely ineffective, and now I need to turn the ship around and head back that way. Now, have I lit up the scoreboard? No, definitely not. I'm not lighting up the scoreboard.
Well done, Commander.
26,000 damage, but I did manage to sink a cruiser, a hipper. Not that that's going to necessarily be the be-all and end-all of the game, but it's, you know, it's at least something. So far I've landed 4 rockets, secured a cap, landed a couple torpedoes, and flooded out one ship. Got an incapacitation, and like I said, did manage to finish off a cruiser, so not a bad start. And that's, unfortunately, if you are looking for a ship that is going to be a huge difference maker, as we lose U-190 and the bad guys lose the Scharnhorst 43. If you're looking for a ship with tremendous alpha, this is not the ship for you. Is it fun to play? Well, yeah, I think it is. But if you're the kind of player who wants a ship that has the ability to just completely decimate, just push up and smash, and this probably isn't for you. With only 1 torpedo rack, occasionally you're going to get a drop like I did there, where you catch somebody more or less broadside, but it's not common. You can't cover a lane the same way that you can if you've got 2 or 3 racks. And the airstrikes, well, you'll see, they're decent for starting fires, which you can then follow up with your HE shells and smoke, or you manage to land a torpedo and you get a flood, then you can use the airstrike to start some fires and maybe your HE. But you have to be mindful all the time of where your ship is. And you can see I set my position and the angle that I'm going to have the ship moving to make sure that I don't get detected while I'm flying the aircraft. And what happened there? Well, I flew right over the Kitakaze. And his HE, along with the Iowa's HE, just completely tore through my aircraft. Well, that's fine. Got another 80 seconds till I've got aircraft back up, and I'm continuing to reposition. So like I said, between torpedo strikes and use of the aircraft, it's all about moving the ship where you're going to want it next. I'm going to want to help at the Bravo cap. The red team now has 2 caps. We only have 1. We are down 4 ships. The red team is only down 3. Now, I'm looking at Takahashi and I'm saying he's going to probably do what most people do. He's probably going to get behind this island that's in the Bravo cap, and he's probably going to sit there. So in 28 seconds, I'm going to be throwing my torpedoes out that way, hoping to catch him. Will I? Well, it's anybody's guess. If he's aware at all that I'm out here, he's probably going to angle accordingly, but sometimes you can still catch somebody. At this point, looking at where things are, I kind of have to give the edge to the red team. We have a whole lot of our guns sitting on the, we'll call it the left half of the minimap. And despite the fact that there are so many of them there, we lost the Alpha cap, we lost the Bravo cap. And I do not want to get detected here, and I have to be aware that Kitakaze might be throwing torpedoes through this gap. Is it likely? Well, probably not. But I do not want to get caught, so you can see I positioned the ship to angle against torpedo strike, and now I can make the airstrike. I'm trying to light up Kitakaze, maybe do a little chip damage to him. He's turning in. Not sure if I'm going to catch him or not. Well, almost 1,800 damage. I'll take it. He knows I'm here now. And if he didn't have Takahashi backing him up, I might take that fight, but I do not want to sit here and have to contend with Takahashi and the Illinois and the Kitakaze. So my torpedoes really didn't do anything, but okay, Kitakaze,
gun crews are on full alert.
He is more or less stopped there. I have a smoke available, but until somebody starts shooting at me, I didn't really see the need. Okay, so Kitakaze gets sunk, and now I'm just going to try and start some fires on Illinois. It's possible Kitakaze had time to get torpedoes away at me, but I'm kind of thinking if he threw the torpedoes, he probably threw them at the Pommern or the KGB. I extended the smoke backward a little bit, trying to help out our Fiji. And I don't really want to sit here, so I'm going to
Smoke screen set.
try to get that fire started.
On normal alert.
Then I'm probably going to have to push north. Okay, there's the fire. Maybe I can get another one.
All stations requesting fire support.
Now, Illinois, he's in trouble. I'm not even going to need to worry about him. As you can see, I changed course again. Now, I didn't really sink the Illinois. Somebody else did, but I had fire going, so it was my fire that did the final tiny little bit. But that's the second kill. I'll take it. And things are starting to look pretty bad for the red team here. Our bomber's pushing into the cap, and I'm going to see if I can't get a fire on the Iowa. He's accelerating, trying to get out from under it. I do manage to get a fire, and my guns don't have anywhere near that kind of range. Thinking about kind of backing toward the cap, and then I just decide, you know what, there's no point to that. I need to just go north, try and get torpedoes into the side of the Iowa. 54 seconds until I have another airstrike. Now, one thing that I'll say, and if you've watched my videos for any time, you've probably heard me say similar things in the past, but
Torpedoes to port.
when you can, I really recommend, after every volley, pan back out as the Iowa finishes off our bomber. Pan back out, take a look at the mini-map and the overall situation on the main screen. This game is, if you'll forgive the expression, very fluid. It changes constantly, and your situational awareness can sometimes be the difference between winning and losing. If I hadn't been paying attention to the fact that that sub was pushing up there, I might have missed an opportunity. And it's not always going to be the case, but sometimes by paying attention, catching that thing that was only there for a split second, maybe you put a shell on something or you put an airstrike on something that finishes it off. Now, I was tempted to have all the torpedoes go to the north side of the island, but then I thought, you know, if Iowa pushes forward, like he did before when I came at him with aircraft, maybe I catch him trying to skirt the edge of the island. And we'll see. He may continue to reverse, but even if he continues to reverse, I think I'm still going to be able to catch him with one of the torpedoes. I tried to put the indicator in such a place that at least 2 to 3 of the torpedoes are going to clear the island. And you can see he's trying to turn and reverse, and the torpedoes are coming, and I'm going to be able to get this rocket attack off, which is probably where his focus is right now. It's really close, but I got 3 torpedoes around the corner, and that one is going to catch him. And that is kill number 3. Now I need to aim the ship in a new direction and head for the Bravo cap, because the red team still has the lead. Now that's going to change here in a second if the Thunderer gets sunk, which it does. And now we have a small lead, but they still have 2 caps to our 1. And, you know, this is, at least to my mind, a relatively close game. And if you, like me, have been experiencing a lot of blowouts, this is the kind of game that keeps me coming back. There have been so many games where, I think I posted a couple last week, maybe the week before. Fiji barely manages to survive that torpedo strike. Where there were a couple games that I played. One was like 5 minutes and 8 seconds or something. And it doesn't, at least to me, it doesn't matter whether you win or lose. A game like that is not fun. It's just not. So a game like this, where the game could still go either way, the red team, granted, they're down to 4 ships. We've still got 5, but our Illinois is almost sunk. And this could still be anybody's game. Now, I could have just let go of the airstrike here, but I decided to just take a chance and hope that the torpedoes that I heard about weren't going to smash me too hard. All right, almost 5K damage on the Takahashi. I'll take that. The sub decides to dive. I do
Problem
have
solved,
smoke,
sir.
but I don't want to use it yet because Takahashi can't even get guns on me. So it's only the sub that I have to deal with, and whoever has me spotted right now. Now, if he went to periscoped up, I guess he might still be there, but I'm starting to think maybe the Mahan is back there. You can see my teammates, they're converging on the cap with me. Illinois is still amazingly in the game.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
And there is the Mahan. So I have to be aware that his torps might be on the way.
Torpedoes to port. Anti-aircraft gun crews are on full alert. Smoke generator started.
And because I've got help out here, he's going to stay lit. And I can just use the
Torpedoes to
guns,
port.
which are not all that accurate, despite what I told you
Torpedoes to
earlier
port.
about
Torpedoes
in the other
astern.
video about the dispersion at max range and stuff. These things just seem to go all over the place.
The enemy is about to win.
But we're going to be able to finish off the Mahan. It's really just a question of who's going to get the
Smoke
last
screen
shot on it.
set.
And it was me, so that's kill number 4, but I've only done, what, 71,000 damage?
Anti-aircraft gun crews are on
This
normal
game's in the
alert.
bag. We're going to be able to secure this cap now. The sub is out there trying to kill our Illinois.
Torpedoes dead ahead.
Here come the torps. If I can get a couple shells on the sub. I actually did. Kind of surprising, but I will take it. And the red team loses to Grossa, and now this is officially really over. There's really not a whole lot Sturdy's going to be able to do, and I have a
All
feeling
forces, capture that
somebody's
area.
going to finish him off. Probably the Illinois is going to just airstrike him into oblivion. See all of his torpedoes there.
Our
So
victory is in
his
sight.
torpedo strike missed, and Illinois does finish him off. So I think this might have been the last game that I played in this ship before I went back to some other things. I feel pretty good about it. It is fun. It is, as I said in the last replay, it is not a ship that I think most people would enjoy in particular. Now, why is that? Because this is, at least to my mind, more of a support type ship. You're not going to have the opportunity to get the big alpha strike damage that so many other ships have. Even if we just consider the Fletcher, where you've got a couple racks of torpedoes and you can cover a wider angle, or you can, launch one set and then move a little bit and then launch the other, and you can change the angles, increasing your chance to land one. You don't really have that option with this ship. Now, there were a couple times, and I don't think it was in this video or the other one that I showed you, but there were a couple times where I was able to, kind of bait somebody into turning and running into the torpedoes. But that kind of thing doesn't happen very often. So 73,000 damage, we'll call it. 60 shell hits with the guns, 3 torpedoes, 4 incapacitations, sank 4 ships, although somebody else did the majority of the damage, I think, on most of those, other than maybe the first cruiser. Started 3 fires, caused a flood, captured a point, assisted in capture, 7 spots, and landed 15 rockets. We'll take a look at the damage breakdown. Just kind of fast forward here. Managed to top the scoreboard, feel pretty good about that. This was, of course, a situation where I was top tier. If you are facing tier 10 and super ships, you will struggle much more. Make no mistake about that. The super ships and tier 10 ships, the AA is much more powerful, and they will chew through your attack aircraft very quickly. So essentially what you're going to have is you're going to have a nerfed Fletcher that you're playing the game with. So you have to really enjoy the play style that this thing has with the rocket planes, and you got to really like that, at least in my opinion, to justify spending whatever you would spend to pick this ship up, even if this is a ship that you enjoy the history of or whatever, and you want to put it in your port. Okay, so we'll take a look at the detailed report. Also, I want to say thanks to Nerf AA in the Fiji and our Azuma and KGB players. You all did really well, and it was a pleasure being on the team with you. You can see kind of a breakdown of the damage that I did here. So 20,000 with the main battery, which is about what you'd expect from these guns. They are not phenomenal. 174 shells, landed 60 of them, so basically 30%. Put 3 torpedoes into ships. out of 35 and managed 15 rocket hits. So not a lot of damage. Again, a few fires here, but collectively even they didn't do a whole lot of damage. Managed to finish off 4 ships, did a little bit of spotting damage, there was a little bit of potential damage, but I really, at this point, after playing this thing a few times, I just was trying to just stay as far away from getting hit as I could to make use of the weapon systems on this thing, the long-range torpedoes and the airstrikes. The guns primarily, I think, are more of a kind of an end-of-the-game type thing, because most anything at this tier is going to be able to outgun you. So even if you play where you're going to push into a cap and you're going to try and contest the cap early, most things you encounter are going to be able to just smash you in terms of the damage output. So there's that to consider as well. All right, that's it. We can take one look at kind of all the individual things that put damage on. Decent XP, of course, that's using some bonuses. How would I rate Halford? At this point, 8.5 probably, something in that range in terms of enjoyment for me. It's probably not a ship I'm going to play a lot. I would much rather play Tromp if I want this type of play style. But if you are a history buff and you want to have this in your port, I can tell you that I did have some fun with it. It's just not all that effective. It's difficult to do damage with, difficult to really contribute to the team with. It's not often that you're going to have the opportunity to shoot down a lot of aircraft like I did in the first replay that I showed you, because so often when you get spotted, if you are using your AA, people can even blind fire into your smoke and do massive damage to you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, I hope you'll maybe make a comment below. And if you haven't yet, I hope you'll subscribe. I really appreciate you spending some time with me, and I'll see you next time.